Welcome to a very brief video where I want to address the topic of channels. Now, I don't want to go too deep here and confuse you. I'm just going to leave this to you for some outside reading. But there's one aspect of wireless networking that you need to be familiar with on the exam, and I'm going to kind of break it down as simply as I can. Now, when I get a wireless access point and I set it in my office, keep in mind that this thing is broadcasting radio frequencies, but it has the ability to use different channels. Okay, now depending on the wireless standard, some of them will offer 3 channels, some will offer 11 channels, some will offer even more than that. But the bottom line is your wireless access point is broadcasting kind of on a channel. Now think of like a radio. You know how you have your preset buttons on a radio? Well, those are channels, right? One's 98.7 FM, one's 106.3 FM, 101.1 FM, so forth. So we can have this thing basically broadcast the sound out to us on a radio on different channels. Well, your WAP is kind of doing the same thing. A channel is a band of radio frequencies that's used to basically send out the wireless signal. Now, different standards, 802.11a, b, g, utilize different numbers of channels, and I would strongly recommend that you go out and get in a quiet room away from the kids, dogs, TVs, those sorts of things, and just read about wireless channels because you're going to run into a situation when you have multiple access points being used in a single location. You need to make sure that the channels being used by each access point are not overlapping. Because if they overlap, you're going to get kind of this mishmash of the signal in some places, and your devices will drop off the network, or it'll get slow, or you'll have intermittent service and so forth. And so here's the bottom line. This is really all you need to remember about this. For example, in 802.11bg, channels 1, 6, and 11 are non-overlapping channels. Now what that means is if I have 3 wireless access points and I want these things to work seamlessly together and people not have trouble, I want to go in and set one of these to broadcast on channel 1. I want another one to broadcast on channel 6, and I want the third one to broadcast on channel 11. They're non-overlapping channels and they won't interfere with each other. If I set the first one at 1, the second one at channel 2, the next one at channel 3, I have 3 overlapping channels, and there's going to be all sorts of irritating problems here. I've run into this before out on corporate projects, on integration projects where we're trying to get touch panels to talk to wireless access points all over large homes or businesses, and the wireless panel that's being carried around is constantly losing the wireless signal. Well, we have to go in there and look, and sure enough, whoever installed the wireless access points did not change the channels. You had overlapping channels, and there were all sorts of problems. Here's what I want you to remember for the purposes of the exam right now and for real life. Channels 1 and 6 on all the standards are always non-overlapping channels, and the ones that have enough, 1, 6, and 11. So if you see a question on the exam about using multiple access points and people are having trouble staying connected, or if they mention the words non-overlapping channels or anything, the answer is going to be 1 and 6 or 1, 6, and 11. Okay, just watch for that. And again, I want to strongly encourage you to go out and do some outside reading on this. Pretty fascinating stuff. But that'll help you with Network Plus exam. It'll also help you in the real world quite a bit.